I will never forget the detachment we had to Malta in 1978. It was actually the last fighter detachment to Malta before Malta sort of ceased to have any RAF there, because used to go and do our gun firing there. We had an incredibly successful sort of armament practice camp called, where we fired the guns, really successful. And we also sort of had a memorable day when we flew 111 sorties in a day.
What?
111 sorties.
How did that?
That was quite an achievement. That was particularly memorable. But that was memorable. That detachment was memorable for so many reasons. But because detachments are always great bonding sessions for the squadron, and the squadron was really humming then. It was great. And in fact, I went. Funny enough, I went. That was in May 1978. With the boss and I, sort of plus a couple of backseaters, good friends, went back to Malta for the closing ceremony of Malta in September 1978. So Malta is a time that I remember very well. The other time I remember, in particular, talking about the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean was always a popular place to go. Used to love going to Cyprus, but for some reason, the fighter squadrons weren't going to Cyprus for a while. However, that was about to change, and I went on the initial proving mission for the Phantom, going back to Cyprus for armament practice camps. And we had two tankers. I remember two Victor tankers, and myself and the other pilot of the other Phantom was the American exchange. And we were down refueling. In fact, we were known as, the tankers were known as Mother and we were known as Chicks.
Yeah.
On this time we had two tankers. We'd normally probably only have one, and sort of be handed over this one. And the number two tank, I was on the lead tanker taking fuel off him, and the number two tanker was in trail, and my buddy, my number two, was taking fuel off when the trail Victor hit slipstream. And that's not funny. And what happened then was basically sort of because of the slipstream, the effect on the hose and things, it took the probe off the Phantom.
Wow.
So all of a sudden, sort of, we were in a situation there, sort of where you had to think, well, and it's really sort of, we would think, but the lead aircraft was the Victor. So in that situation, in fact, as it happened in the end, one Victor went into Malta with my number two, and I went on to Cyprus with the other one. And in fact, the number two, sort of with more fuel, he flew on that afternoon from Malta, but with the probe out. He didn't have to refuel because he had enough fuel. So I remember that was an interesting. It was an interesting trip to Cyprus. That was.